Konnichiwa. Bienvenue à la conférence de presse du film Outrage, 15e film de M. Kitano Takeshi. Le Festival de Cannes est donc très heureux d'accueillir à nouveau M. Takeshi Kitano, à ma gauche.
ご紹介します。今回カンヌにご招待させていただきました。カンヌウェルカムということで北野武さんです。
Le producteur du film, qui est également le responsable de Office Kitano, M. Masayuki Mori. Je crois savoir qu'il y a beaucoup de spectateurs qui ont été très surpris de retrouver M. Takeshi Kitano, de revenir à Cannes avec un film de Yakuza, mais attention, qui n'a absolument rien à voir avec ses précédents films de Yakuza, de ce qu'on appelle le Yakuza Eiga au Japon. Et ma première question, justement, c'est de poser à M. Takeshi Kitano, c'est de savoir s'il y avait vraiment une volonté de renouveler avec ce film le genre du Yakuza Eiga, et surtout, c'est un film qui est plein de bruit de fureur, qui est vraiment d'un réalisme cru et sauvage, s'il peut y avoir l'idée d'une parabole avec le monde capitaliste, qui est aussi sauvage et extrême que son film.
Well, when I started my career as a filmmaker, I was mostly got my reputation as a filmmaker of violence movies, and many people I spoke to, including the journalists, asked me about violence all the time. So I kind of fed up with that situation. So I started making the non-violent movies, and I made some of the films without any of the violent elements. And then the people started asking me, why did you stop making violent movies? So I kind of got lost as to what to do. And then at this time, I thought it would be a good a time as any to really tackle the violent kind of film again. But if I were to repeat the same old, that wouldn't be too exciting, and that would be just boring. So I wanted to make something new. I wanted to make something evolved from my earlier movies. So that's why I included a lot of dialogue exchange, which I never did in my earlier movies, and I incorporated a very straightforward, simple kind of storyline about Yakuza. So if this film is not a success, I would go back to the non-violent kind of genre again, because my film directorial career has been nothing but the repetition of one failure after another. But for me, the film ended up not too bad, and I definitely think it's a controversial kind of movie.
I would like to know which are your references concerning the tradition of gangster movies. If you could say a few words about the gangster movies that somehow influenced you, and I would like to know your opinion concerning the gangster films done by Takashi Miike nowadays in Japan.
Well, my rough understanding of the Japanese Yakuza genre movie is that it started with the golden era of the Toei movies starring the Ken Takakura, depicting the good old Yakuza from the Meiji era, the late 1800 to early 1900 years. And then we had of course, the Jingi Naki series, Battle Without Honor series by Kinji Fukasaku, which made a lot of impact. And then in the 80s and throughout the 90s, we have what we call the V cinema, the video direct movies made for videos in Japan. And many of the Yakuza genre movies ended up being a V cinema in those days, in the 80s and 90s. And of course, I liked Kinji Fukasaku's Yakuza movies a lot when I was young, but his style is so different from my directorial style in terms of movements of the camera and feeling the flame with the characters and the props and the buildings and whatnot. So it's really not my cup of tea in terms of style and in terms of cinematic style. And speaking of Mr. Miike, He's a very prolific director, and he's made too many movies to really make a specific comment on one movie. I mean, he is it's a very prolific movie, so it's hard for me to tell which one is good and which one is bad. So probably I could say that the genre filmmaker that I'm influenced by the most would be Kinji Fukasaku, in that I wanted to de-influence anything that I got from Kinji Fukasaku's movies.